It's my great pleasure to carry Senate Bill 86. Mr. President, this is a modernization of Alaska's money transmission laws. And what better way to introduce a modernization than to start with the history? In 2007, we passed the Uniform Money Services Act, which was a Uniform State Law Commission model act. Uncle Sam doesn't regulate money transmission. Looks at banks, brokers, all sorts of things, but the transmission of money is something left to the states. And so in 2007, the state of Alaska stepped up to the plate and provided some very basic, rudimentary safety and soundness regulation for what at the time we thought of as businesses like Western Union or mom and pops that might help international workers send their salary home. In 2008, Mr. President, the year after the legislature acted, a person or people writing under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto published a paper coming up with this idea of a non-governmental, mathematical, blockchain cryptocurrency, which first became available in 2009, the same year that Venmo was created. Both of them after we'd written our laws. Mr. President, I think it's fair to say that Alaska's money transmission laws aren't a great fit for cryptocurrency. And so in the 32nd and 33rd legislature, the administration, the Department of Commerce, Community and Economic Development, brought forward a major update to Alaska's money services businesses laws to cover transmission, to cover cryptocurrency, to cover stored value, things like that. It turns out to be a really thick packet of paper because it takes us from a uniform law model that very few states adopted to a different model law put together by the Conference of State Bank Supervisors, which all 50 states participate in, and worked out collaboratively between regulators and industry. Regulators from blue states and red states and swing states, and industry players both large and small. This model really is a generational update. And it covers everything from Western Union to electronic money transmission and stored value to crypto. It's a big deal, Mr. President. In the last calendar year, in 2024, money transmission businesses moved $6.3 billion to, from, or within Alaska. They did that over 28 million 200 and some odd thousand transactions. If you divide that by the 525,600 minutes that make up a year, you get 54 money transmission transactions every minute. Mr. President, I'm going to try and keep my remarks to something under 400 money transmissions. I'll do my best. We don't know exactly how much value is handled in cryptocurrency in Alaska because only a few companies voluntarily report. They are folks who engage in money transmission, and they give us some information about the value of crypto, so we know the barest minimum is $1.5 billion more each year. That's on top of the $6.3 billion in dollar-denominated or money-denominated transmission. So Alaskans have that much at stake and going on and moving around, actually a great deal more than that, we're sure, we just don't know exactly how much, with state laws that don't fit all of it all that well, and a situation where Uncle Sam isn't looking either. So the basic goals of this modernization are the same as that 2007 Act. It's very basic safety and soundness regulation. This is not the 1980s model of government regulation, Mr. President. This makes sure there are no crooks in the corporate ladder. We don't want embezzlers and fraudsters running these businesses that move Alaskans' money or hold Alaskans' cryptocurrency. It's having cash or crypto to cover. Like for like is the goal, Mr. President. You need to have cash or safe, allowable investments at your company equal to, or I suppose in excess of, what you're holding and moving for Alaskans. You need to have the right number of Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Ethereum or what have you to cover what Alaskans have entrusted to you or are moving by you. It prevents diverting the customer's assets. Anybody who has read the news and the financial papers in the last few years have heard about major collapses, exchanges like FTX or Voyager or Celsius. And too often, those companies are taking the customer's cryptocurrency and they're using it in their hedge fund, they're using it in their investments, schemes, investment plans, without the customer's knowledge or permission. This bill would prevent that. And then some very, very basic consumer protections, that some of which we have now. Rules about timely transmission. If you send the money, it needs to get there promptly. Receipts, so that you have a track record for what you sent or what you're due to receive. You have to follow your contracts. Mr. President, there is one significant change in business practices here I should flag. And that is, sometimes when you click accept the terms and conditions to open up a crypto wallet with a company, what you've agreed to says if the company goes bankrupt, those assets, those crypto coins, the cryptocurrency you have, the company can use that to settle their debts. Mr. President, this bill does stop that. The customer's asset belongs to the customer, not the company. There are a few other things that this modernization does that I think the members ought to know and the public ought to know about. This modernizes and makes our system of regulating these businesses much more efficient. It uses an electronic multi-state registry to do the background checks, to do the fingerprinting, lets them do the reporting that way. That's going to save the number of hours that a state employee has to do right now on those tasks. It also goes to a tiered fee structure. That 2007 law had a fee structure that was set up for the way businesses worked back then. And right now, just about everybody pays just about the same, whether you are one of the biggest companies in the country in this space or whether you're a new entrant. In fact, a couple of companies maintain a license in Alaska. They don't move any money transmission or any value in Alaska. They pay the same. That's not really fair, and it doesn't really represent the work that Alaska regulators do. So this will go to a tiered fee structure, Mr. President. And those tiered fees, based on the value that a company holds or moves, will pay the cost of the state workers. There is no general fund in this bill. A few other important principles, Mr. President. The bill is written to avoid double regulation. If a federal bank regulator looks over you, or a federal credit union regulator looks over your shoulder, the state doesn't. They do a good job, and you don't need to be double regulated. There are no rules that would impact innovation, would impact a customer's choices. It is up to the Alaskan whether they want to make a speculative investment or think it's the safest thing on the world, whether it's the more established cryptocurrencies or whether it's something new that comes on the market tomorrow that I haven't even thought of. This is just about making sure that the companies are safe, secure, they're handling it correctly, and that there are no crooks involved in the corporate ladder. Mr. President, those are the fundamentals of the bill. I think it's valuable to note that this puts an Alaska watchdog around the perimeter of all these businesses. Nobody goes unlooked at. When we have an Alaskan regulator on the beat, so to speak, they can get results that often you can't if you call the Federal Trade Commission and you think you've been taken advantage of, you think the rules have been broken, and you have to press 2 to scream into the void. There's nobody there. Alaska regulators are there. They answer the phone. And they have a track record of getting results for Alaskans, oftentimes breaking up scam operations, getting results and recovery for Alaskans. But the primary purpose of the bill is to prevent, Mr. President. And so with that, I will sit down. I'm happy to take questions from the members on anything to do with the bill to modernize our money transmission and money services laws and to include cryptocurrency for some basic safety and soundness rules. Thank you, Mr. President.